Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Gary Sutton Show right here on News Radio 910 WSBA. I am Gary Sutton on a Tuesday morning, kind of a ugly-looking day out there. I got out and played a little bit of golf last night, geez, we can't get 2 good days in a row here right now, can we? But, it's always a good day when you're in here with me. I enjoy having you every Tuesday morning, every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, okay? Right here on the Gary Sutton Show. How many of you sit down in the evening and you turn on your favorite show or you put on a movie or whatever you might do there, and you start to get into the munchies a little bit? Yeah. I've gotten better. I eat apples now and all kinds of fruits and so forth. But there used to be a time where I'd spend a little time with the popcorn and the chocolate and the whole deal. We've got a guy this morning who's going to help you a little bit with some of that. His name is Dr. David Foreman. He's known as the Herbal Pharmicist. He actually has his own radio show weekly down in Tampa Bay, and he's with us here on the Gary Sutton Show to talk about managing those munchies. Good morning, Dr. Foreman. Great to have you on the show.
Hey, Gary. It's awesome. I was when you guys called me a few minutes ago, I forget the guy's name now, but anyway.
Brian.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize. He's gonna disconnect me now, isn't he? But no, I actually
he's got tears in his eyes right now, Dr. Foreman. But I'm thinking a couple weeks of counseling, we should be able to get him right out of it. He'll be fine.
Oh, cool. I like that. Well, I actually spent my senior year of high school at Lebanon High, so I actually used to, and I worked downtown Harrisburg when I was in college.
Oh my gosh! Well, you were a Cedar then at Lebanon High. There you go. So
yeah, exactly. I don't really like to claim that one too much, but
oh, okay.
I'm just kidding around.
There's another story there for another time, I think. But
yeah. And counseling.
Yeah, exactly. So, and what it did to you. So anyway, a lot of people, it's just you reach for the bag, when you're sitting down watching TV. It's been an age-old problem for a long time. And you're kind of into some unconventional ways to curb some of those cravings without jumping in the car and hitting the drive-in, right?
Yeah, the reality is we all have cravings for something food-wise. Some people have the sweet or the salt. Some people have a texture. You were talking about sitting in front of the TV, like going to the movies. People have to have popcorn. So
oh my gosh,
we all have them, and regretfully, the craving thing is what often derails us from a healthy lifestyle. And so we came up with 4 kind of unique approaches, or at least thought processes, to look at if you do suffer from cravings.
Well, before we get into those, thoughts about how to make it better, where do cravings come from? Because I know, when I think about a craving, it's got to have a couple different characteristics to it in order to satisfy a craveable, satisfying snack.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different things that play into it. What doesn't is people think that they crave a certain food because they're deficient in something that's in it, and that's a bunch of garbage. So just throw that one out the window.
Okay, that's tossed.
Yeah, going into it, everybody's different. Again, some people it's texture. So some people like creamy, some people like crunchy. I'm a crunchy kind of guy. Some people like sweet. Some people like salt. I'm a salt guy. There's environmental things like. At Easter, you gotta have a peep, or you have. That's just gross to me, but whatever. Or Thanksgiving, you have to have grandma's apple pie. So, we're all, or just, driving down the road, you pass a Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, and you're like, oh, just seeing the word donut makes people want to crave them. So they really do come from all over, and it's actually cravings are more of a mental thing than they are a physical. It's like a mental emotional, which those two are kind of tied together. Where versus the reason you're craving a salty snack is because you're sodium deficient. That's not true.
Yeah, I hear that. One of the interesting things though too, and you look at all the advertising we have in the visual world in which we live. There are all kinds of. You're getting bombarded throughout the day. If you look at your smartphone, you look at your computer, whatever you might look at, I would dare say you go every couple of seconds, and man, you're getting hit with some kind of food advertisement of some kind, aren't you?
Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. Driving on the highway, you see the billboards for it. Of course, the picture of that burger always looks much better than the one you actually get in the fast food place. Or, there's definitely that visual thing, and we are bombarded by it. And regretfully, in our country now, we have 70% of the people are overweight. 36% are obese. And it's not getting any better. And it's not just here in the United States. It's pretty much become more of a global issue. Matter of fact, I just wrote something today, an article. The World Health Organization last year said that obesity was now a bigger health risk than malnutrition.
Wow.
Wrap your head around. Yeah, isn't that? I mean, wrap your head around that one. So being obese is a bigger health risk globally than malnutrition.
Wow.
And that just blows my mind.
We're talking with Dr. David Foreman, a retired pharmacist, author and radio host of the syndicated show The Herbal Pharmicist, and he's down in Tampa Bay now, so obviously not Lebanon anymore, which he has detested, and he's now in Tampa Bay, which he loves.
Say it that way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just putting words in your mouth. I'm having fun with you a little bit, but no, Lebanon's a nice place. I like Lebanon. What the heck?
Yeah, actually, some good golf. I heard you say you play golf. I play golf. I'm in California right now.
Okay.
But I play golf as well yesterday, and there's actually some really nice golf courses over that way.
Lebanon Country Club is a wonderful golf course. And if you ever try to play the 11th hole there, it's murder. Anyway.
You're right, exactly.
What are some ways that you can curb a craving? Okay. I've heard people say anything from put locks on the doors, which seems to be a little extreme to me, or maybe instead of craving, go out for a run or a walk or, whatever. So what's a good way to curb a craving just from a common sense standpoint?
Well, common sense thing, along the lines of what you just said, instead of the locks, just don't buy those foods.
Yeah.
If you don't have them in the house, I mean, seriously, most people get their cravings late at night, or maybe at work. And, at work, I'm a little more challenging because of snack machines. But, if you're like me and if there's a bag of potato chips in front of you, you'll eat it. Don't keep it in the house because there's a really good chance that at some point during the day or night, you're going to end up remembering, oh my gosh, I have that in the fridge or I have it in the pantry, and you're going to eat it. So that's probably the biggest thing. Regretfully, here in the United States, we're addicted to food, and we're addicted to starchy, processed, and sugary foods. And in November, I gave this talk in Vegas on the sugar overload here in the United States. The average American consumes 135 pounds of sugar a year.
Gee, Christmas.
Yeah, no, and actually, as I like to say, the average American consumes an American's, weight in sugar every year.
So we eat another person, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and just in sugar alone. And, sugar is very addictive. We now know that sugar, lights up the same part of the brain that heroin and cocaine do, so it definitely has that effect on the brain. Foods like starches, like pasta, bread, potatoes, and rice, they convert to sugar real easy. So those they taste good and they're very addictive. And so I know there's actually something I recommend for those people that do suffer with like those starchy, sugary cravings. There's in the natural health world, they found there's an extract that comes from white kidney beans, and the extract is scientifically shown to. By the way, the ingredient's called Phase 2. So if you go to a local, health, like Vitamin Shop, GNC, even go to Walgreens, that's the name of the ingredient. It's PHASE and then the number 2. Phase 2 is a starch blocker. It keeps starches from being broken down into sugar. And so it takes a long time for us to get over those addictions to pasta and bread and, like I said, potatoes and I don't know too many people eating white rice anymore. But until you can learn to do that, Phase 2 will help block up to 65% of that calorie effect from those foods because it keeps the starch from being broken down into sugar. And then the other cool thing about it is that there was a study recently published in a journal called Obesity. They found that not only did it help people with this weight loss part of over-consuming starchy or carby foods, but it also decreased people's cravings for sugar. And to me, that's just huge because until you learn that new lifestyle of not eating it, not buying it, whatever it is it takes, at least you've got a way to kind of help your body get through that time frame.
You get a lot of people that go out and they say, I've got a sweet tooth tonight. So you go out to the ice cream place and all of a sudden you see, oh, they got yogurt here. Then you see they got non-fat yogurt here. And you say, okay, I'll go with that. I don't feel as guilty then. That would be okay. So what do you say to people like that when they find the non-fat yogurt or they find the yogurt, the frozen yogurt? What is there really a big difference?
Actually, the interesting thing is that when you buy something that's non-fat, they usually put more sugar in it.
Oh.
Or something else that you really don't want. So, it's kind of funny at my house when it comes to like, butter or, some fake crap that's out there. We use butter because I'd rather have people eat the real deal, and maybe less of it because you're into. When you buy low fat, seriously, read the labels. Like if you buy low fat cottage cheese, it's usually significantly higher in sodium. Sodium will raise your blood pressure and cause a whole bunch of other problems. Yep. So You know, they put other things in non-fat foods to make up for the fact that the fat's not there. Why? Just fat has a certain taste or texture, and, you know, you take it out. You got to do something to enhance the flavor. So eating low fat is not healthy. I don't endorse it whatsoever. I think it's just a big advertising play to get us to buy other stuff.
How about the low sugar stuff? So if you're putting low sugar on something, that's a snack type thing. I see even some of that on ice cream right now. Then what are you putting in the other side to make up for it?
Well, again, that's the same thing. They're probably using a chemical additive to make up for the sweet that they've taken out with the sugar. There are some natural sweeteners. I just started using one myself, stevia. It's been around for years. It's stevia.
Okay.
You can add that to tea, coffee. You can cook with it. You can even find recipes. You know, like where I live in Florida now, our local grocery store has their own store brand of it. So it's not like some freaky thing you got to run off to, you know, the mom and pop health food store to get. It's, you know, it's in mainstream. It has a 0-calorie effect. It's sweet. It's sort of an acquired taste. I mean, to me, it doesn't taste as good as sugar, but but for people that do have like blood sugar issues, weight issues, it's a great place to start without being too freaky.
Chocolate is one of those areas where, you know, they say half of American women crave chocolate on a regular basis. You put that out here in your information. And they blame it on a lack of magnesium or mood swings. But and then you hear the different things about, well, dark chocolate actually has some decent properties that might be helpful to you. Again, everything in moderation here. What are your thoughts about chocolate?
Well, actually, I think chocolate's great, and you just nailed it with everything in moderation. And you also said dark chocolate.
Yes.
You want the higher concentration of cocoa in your chocolate. And you're right. You know, a majority of women actually crave chocolate, and it's more of it actually has an effect on neurotransmitters, so it can give you that happy feeling, I guess you could say, by consuming chocolate.
Right.
There's a lot to it. But there's really, if you do struggle with chocolate, the scent of jasmine. There was a study that came out a couple of years ago that showed that people that smelled the scent of jasmine significantly reduced their cravings for chocolate. So you know, if you do struggle with it on an hourly basis, then maybe go out and buy a jasmine candle or something and burn that.
And light it up in your home somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was in Sacramento doing some TV work for Fox out there, and the woman was like, God, I could eat chocolate all day. I'm like, well, honey, then you need to light a candle here in the studio.
Carry the jasmine with you everywhere you go. Final one before we get to the solutions here. We're talking with Dr. David Foreman this morning, who's the Herbal Pharmicist, has his own radio program down in Tampa. Popcorn. You know, you go. I don't go to the theater that often, but I went not too long ago, and I guess it shows you how long it's been between visits. I mean, I saw a tub of popcorn. You almost needed your car to hook onto the back to take to your seat. I mean, it was unbelievable, the size of these things. And, of course, you had to take your mortgage to be able to buy it. But your thoughts about popcorn?
Well, actually, it's funny. I'm a big fan of popcorn.
Wow.
But you know, it's what people do to it that makes it, you know, so evil. Usually there's a lot of salt. Usually there's, you know, a lot of fat. I mean, I eat popcorn a lot at home. I have a hot air popper as opposed to oil. Oil, you know, ends up just adding more calories anyway. I use hot air popper. Actually, I will use some butter, but I just, you know, you get to use everything in moderation. You know, you don't have to be a freak or live a freaky lifestyle to be healthy. You just have to do things in moderation. You know, and like for me, 90 to 95% of the time, I'm eating right. I'm, you know, consuming the right fluids, getting my exercise, getting my sleep, so that when I am traveling, like this, I've been in LA for 5 days, just, you know, taking some time off, and I was able to enjoy or overindulge in certain different things, and I don't have to feel guilty about it because the rest of my time I'm actually doing the right thing.
Now, you've talked about sniffing jasmine. You've talked about getting the right amount of sleep. What about getting nutty and taking happy beans? When we come back, we're going to ask Dr. Foreman about getting nutty and taking happy beans. And if you guys are out there, and ladies as well, and you're looking at the munchies at night, maybe if you get nutty and take some happy beans, well, you'll be a little less prone to putting those pounds on. Dr. David Foreman back with us here on the Gary Sutton Show on News Radio 910 WSBA, where it is 20 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA. It's been a Doctor's Wild show so far today. We had Dr. Fab Mancini earlier. We got Dr. David Foreman with us right now. And we have a doctor listening to us, according to something I just received a moment ago. Dr. Baker over at PA Retina Specialist. Now, they have WSBA on in the front waiting room and Warm on in the back waiting room. So you get a little cumulus the whole way around, but nice to know that they have WSBA out in the front waiting room. It's a good introduction to the office. Dr. Baker, thank you so much. Appreciate you listening. Also, if you check out our Twitter today, Gary G. Sutton, I just put out there on Facebook.com/910WSBA. We had a great interview yesterday with Matt Briette. We're going to put that up. And we're also having a great interview today with Dr. Foreman, and that will be up later in the day as well. So that's Facebook.com/910WSBA. And we're back with Dr. David Foreman, the Herbal Pharmicist, managing the munchies. And so I said going to the break, Dr. Foreman, get nutty and take your happy beans, but it's a lot more serious than that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The get nutty thing. I'm really recommend that people try to eat a handful of either raw almonds or raw walnuts every day. And the key thing really is getting the raw nuts as opposed to the ones that are like dry roasted or seasoned. Because anytime we heat things up like that, we destroy a lot of the beneficial properties. And nuts do a couple of things for you. One is they give you that sense of fullness. So if you have them earlier in the day,
right,
you're less likely to feel hungry. Your stomach is going to be less likely to feel hungry. So that's one way to kill. A lot of times we get cravings because we're hungry. Second thing is we often get cravings because our blood sugar dropped. We ate, one of those starchy foods we talked about earlier, and your blood sugar goes up. And then when it crashes down, your energy drops, and then you're looking for, the quick fix, a candy bar, an energy drink, and those things all have, high calorie effects. So if you eat, like I said, almonds or walnuts earlier in the day, they give you a good sense of or a good source of energy because they're high in complex carbohydrates, which are actually the good ones for you. They're high in protein.
Right.
They're high in good fats. So anytime you have that's a really good balance. We're talking about moderation. The nuts are like a really good balance of what will give you sustained energy throughout the day.
Kind of a one-stop pop, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's funny because I had somebody the other day ask me, they're like, well, can you eat too many almonds? And I said, I really don't think you can because, there might be some obsessive compulsive people there,
There are a few.
That could, but in reality is, like, I eat a lot of almonds, and I can tell you, I get so full, there's no way I could get the calorie effect out of, the nuts that would be harmful to me. And people worry about the fat. A lot of doctors scared people from, consuming too much fat and don't eat nuts because they're high in fat, blah, blah, blah. And that's just a bunch of garbage. We now know that the majority of your cholesterol, that is floating around your bloodstream is actually made by your body. It doesn't come from food. It's actually rarely absorbed into your bloodstream. So, so eating nuts is not an unhealthy thing, even though they're high in fat. Got
about 2 minutes left here. I said about taking happy beans. We hear different things about beans from time to time, but you said there was a new clinical study out there in the information you set out in obesity about taking happy beans. What's that all about?
Yeah, this study followed people for an extended period of time. They took that ingredient called phase 2, which comes from the white kidney bean.
Right, yeah, you mentioned that.
And what they did was, they lost weight. They were able to maintain the weight loss, which is really important, and then it also curbed their cravings for sugar. So I recommend people that, do struggle with sugar cravings or starchy foods to use phase 2 as part of their everyday diet. You take a couple capsules with every starchy meal or right before it, and you'll significantly reduce the effect of that food on your weight.
And I saw something else, too, with that was really cool, that it also will boost your overall happiness.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't think that too often you find out anything that actually will increase your happiness. But yeah, these people just had a better sense of well-being, and that's why we call them happy beans. They're not specifically to make you happy, but one of the effects was people claim to just have this better overall outlook and feeling about themselves.
Final thing, is there a kind of a rule? You're going to sit down, you're going to get out to the munchies. Is there a rule that you follow that's a general rule that you maybe, we all have these little sayings we carry around and stuff. Is there anyone that you kind of use that really helps?
Yeah, actually, probably the biggest thing is if you're going to cave and you're going to give into that craving for whatever it is, get a small portion, put it on a napkin in a bowl or whatever, and then put it away. Yeah, because you're less likely to get up and down multiple times to get it. So just get yourself a small portion, and then another tip is to actually take your your smartphone or whatever, set a timer for 15 minutes. Usually cravings will go away within 15 minutes if you just stay away from it, or just drink a big glass of water. That's another good tip. It doesn't cost you anything, but a little time to drink it down.
Now, I know they can follow you on Twitter. They can also go to Facebook to find out more about what you've got to offer. Tell them a little bit where they can go find you.
All right, herbalpharmicist.com, HERBAL. I'm a pharmacist like the person at the drugstore. he can connect through everything, Twitter, Facebook, blog, the whole deal is right there on my website.
It's been great talking to you today, Doctor. I really enjoyed it, and I think we've learned a lot today as well. So thank you very much for your insights, and I hope we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, hey, thank you very much. You guys all have a blessed day, okay?
Thank you. Get that counseling about that Lebanon thing, too. I think you'll be a lot better off in the long run. Take care. Thanks.
Oh, man, I knew that was coming back to haunt me.
Dr. Foreman.
I was ask you for extra time to apologize. I'm going to write a retraction.
Yeah, the whole Lebanon newspaper is going to be out in force today. You'll be.
No, it wasn't against Lebanon. It was against the. My parents moved me there my senior year, so I kind of hold a grudge against Lebanon, not because it's a horrible place to live.
Yeah.
It's because I moved there. I mean, who moves their kid their senior year of high school?
Yeah, well, that's it. See, your parents probably still. They got some answering to do there too. So, Dr. Foreman.
Lebanon. I love it there. My in-laws own a farm in Lebanon County. I can't bust on it too hard, okay?
All right. You've solved the problem here. I think you've paid penance. But thank you, Dr. Foreman.
All right, thanks a lot, Gary.
Take care. Good talking to you.